you're suddenly seeing that we basically caused this issue.
Yeah.
And so we have to do something about it.
This episode of CU Live is sponsored by our friends at MORPC, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, and features stories about local and regional partners that envision and embrace innovative directions in economic prosperity, transportation, sustainability, and an inclusive Central Ohio. MORPC's transformative programming, innovative services, and public policy initiatives are designed to promote and support the vitality and growth in the region. For more information, visit morpc.org or click the link in the video description.
Hello and welcome to CU Live. I'm Susan Post, Associate Editor of Columbus Underground. Today I have with me Jon-Paul D'Aversa, who is the Senior Energy Planner at the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, or MORPC, as you all might know it. So I want to talk about one of the really big projects that you've been working on at MORPC, which is the Energy Academy. So tell us a little bit more about the purpose of the program.
Sure. So thanks for having me. Energy Academy is a part of the local government energy partnership.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is really level set and get the right amount of information to not only our local governments, but also a lot of our partners and stakeholders in the region about what is energy, how does it impact us, what can we do about it, and most importantly, how do we fund that? Because, without the funding, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and there's a couple more of those sessions left, right?
Yep,
yeah.
We have 2 more sessions left. One is on our Central Ohio Solar Toolkit for local governments, which we just released, and then the final one's about funding, so we're going to tie it all together.
So you just led a session as a part of the Energy Academy on equity and health impacts of energy, which to me that was something really interesting to tie together because I had never really thought about that before. But MORPC did an energy study and found that residential energy burden is at unacceptable levels in 6 communities in Central Ohio. So broadly tell us a little bit more about what that means.
Sure. So your energy burden is the percent of your income that goes to your heating and electricity needs. And within the study, within the Franklin County Energy Study, we found the 6 communities. Some of them were just bordering on being unacceptable. You had some that were just, nearly off the charts. And so what we looked at in this Energy Academy was why is that way? And so we were able to draw a real straight line between the policies of the past. So we're talking about redlining and deed restrictions and covenants, and then also how at first the GI Bill was only for white men, and so providing mortgages and education opportunities only for a certain part of our population. And so what did that do? So you look at these areas that were redlined back in the 30s, you line them up with the disinvestment that's currently going on and that's happened in between, and you're suddenly seeing that we basically caused this issue.
Yeah.
And so we have to do something about it.
And what are some of those areas?
Right. So we're looking at Old Town East, Linden, Hilltop, Franklinton. You have the Milo Grogan area as well. And again, you line them up with that redlining map and boom, there they are. It's right there.
And just to go back to what you said at the beginning, you were kind of looking at it as a percentage of the income. So kind of what are those levels where it gets to be a burden?
Sure. So the U.S. has an average typically around 3.5%. And that's relatively affordable for most people. Ohio is at about 4%.
Okay.
And then you start to look at these communities, and where it becomes unacceptable, where it becomes unaffordable is around 6%, and then over 10% is just unacceptable.
So what are some of the other ways that energy is impacting equity in Central Ohio?
Energy is this is one of those really big issues to kind of tease out.
Sure, it's a lot to talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the energy bills. Is the number one reason why people get payday loans.
Really?
So you are going to also see people putting off medical treatment. You're going to see them putting off educational opportunities and going to school. I don't know if you've ever been too cold at night, but it's terribly difficult to study. And then you tie in all of the health aspects too. So for people who are having their energy turned off, suddenly everything else becomes that much more difficult.
Right. It really impacts everything.
And as you can see with COVID now, those shutoffs are going to start happening again.
There's been a lot of concern over that.
Absolutely, and with the current heat that we're experiencing, it's gonna hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about solutions.
Sure.
What are some of the things that could be done to help address some of these inequities in these neighborhoods?
Awesome. So energy efficiency, as we noted in the report, is a great step. But it's not all that we can do, or it's not enough to do that. That'll get most of those communities almost in line, but only about half of them. So what about everyone else? And also we were looking at averages across the community rather than everybody within the community. So there's some great variation within it. Energy efficiency, always number one. Job training programs. If we can get people working in this industry, that's a great opportunity to keep money right here. So Columbus has started Sustainable Steps, and this is not only trying to increase energy efficiency, but also provide the job training to actually go out and do those audits and make all that happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and shedding a little bit more light on this issue and how closely those two are really connected. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely.